What's happening, world? Happy Friday. It's a great Friday today. Welcome to another episode of Cognac Confessionals. I'm your host, Deshaun, here at Where Media Meets Studios in conjunction with VJ TV Network, Feral Films, History in the Making Entertainment, Keep It Cloudy Productions. It's, what is it, March 18th?
Mm-hmm.
You know, end of another exciting week as always.
Yes, indeed.
Shit. Just a lot of shit going on in the world, as always. And let everybody introduce themselves as usual.
I'm the People's Minister of Information, BlackNewWorldMedia.com, Ministry of Information Podcast,
Yes.
political writer, J.R. Valrey.
My man's J.R. Valrey is in the building tonight, people.
Hey, what's up? This Sparrow. I'm the supreme servant of the people, and I'm just here to do my part.
That's right. We got a few things to get in on tonight, but we're gonna start with my good brother, J.R.
Okay,
There we go.
I'm here with you. What's up?
Yeah, so you've been on the show before. You got a lot. You brother, like I said last night, you into a lot. You hosting. You got Black New World Media. You got your podcast. You are a busy brother. You're traveling all over the world. You're going to the motherland.
And I'm trying to get on your level, man. I was
I'm
doing
trying to
old school media. Now I'm trying to step into this new age media,
Mm-hmm.
And I know VJ TV, Cognac Confessionals, right here, y'all been on that.
True. So you got your new venture coming.
Right.
Tell us about the Ministry of Information podcast.
Ministry Information Podcast is a podcast for the hip hop generations. You know how they used to say the hip hop generation?
Yeah.
But you got hip hop grandfathers now. So
Yeah,
we're the hip hop generations.
Uh-huh.
So it's for black people and people that enjoy our culture.
Right.
And that respect our culture. But we
Keywords, respect.
No doubt. And we're going to be talking about, not just the music. A lot of hip-hop podcasts talk about the music, who made this beat, who made that song, what happened in that fight 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as much interested in that as I'm interested in the spin-off businesses that people have made out of hip-hop. So I interview people like Tajay of Souls of Mischief.
Right.
He got Cali Baba, which is a marijuana subscription service.
Okay.
So you get surprise flower that come to your house that's more than $100 every month, almost like Sports Illustrated or like Playboy or something. And you get all these like weed toys, with it. So we covered him. I talked to Dawu, who was down the street with big printing. Talking about the printing game, crypto, solely vegan. We was talking to solely vegan. So it's just something that's for the older hip hop generations that want to talk about something more than just, production.
Right. And so,
Or who got beat up at Summer Jam?
yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what would be funny even about that? People be talking about who got beat up at Summer Jam 20 years after the fact. Like, and do you realize that's like in our generation, if people would have told us that Teddy Pendergrass and Smokey got into it, so
We'd have been like,
look, so
old school artists and backstage throwing elbows.
right.
Nobody give a fuck.
Exactly. So that's why I'm trying to keep mine on the up and up. I mean, it ain't nothing wrong with preserving history,
Right.
but we also gotta look forward. Like I said, history in the making. We gotta be looking in front of us.
That's what's up. And so, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Where will we be able to find this? What platform? Where will we be able to
I
find
gotta
it?
try to step my game up, man, because I don't want to be a struggling broke artist for the rest of my life, right? So I just went straight to Patreon. So where people can subscribe directly to what I'm doing.
Gotcha.
Instead of trying to subscribe through YouTube or something like that, where I'm getting cut and YouTube getting a huge, you know what I'm saying? And you're getting a streaming price where
and
you make
YouTube
it.
can suddenly not like what you're saying and demonetize you. My bad.
You good?
Little steppers
Oh yeah, them is too.
And they can demonetize you and crush your whole business.
on a whim. I mean, they could demonetize you and you literally pull up 27 other people saying the same thing as you saying, and they not monetized. So It's a digital overseer.
That's what it
What
directly is.
what Ice-T say back in the days? Freedom of speech.
Just watch what you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. That is true.
So I'm just trying to, you got people on these podcasts that's making millions of dollars saying nothing. I've been looking at a lot of them on the East Coast, and I've been doing this for years as a real journalist. So I'm trying to figure out the way from taking it from old school journalism to new school journalism. So that's kind of what I'm on. I got a party April 9th at a new club, 19th and Grand. It used to be Era, but it's on April 9th. 5:30 to 8, everybody is invited. I'm going to be doing like mini interviews, little 5-minute interviews so that people can see kind of what I be talking about on the show.
6 or 7.
Huh?
I'm going to need 6 or 7 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Just treat me special.
Right. And then I got the jazz man, TBA, going to be there. It's going to be hosted by Keitra on stage.
Okay.
So,
truly a talented.
Yeah, shout out to her.
No doubt. She got a show April 7th at Yoshi, so shout out to her.
Big. That's going to be a busy day.
Yeah, April 7th, that's my birthday, so
happy birthday early. It's going to start.
Aries season is coming.
Aries season is coming. My wife is Aries.
So was my mother.
Yeah,
a lot of great people is under Aries.
So you got the show on the 7th.
She got the show.
She got the show on the 7th at Yoshi's,
and I got the lunch.
You got your lunch party on the 9th.
Right.
What else you got going? Because last time we talked, we've talked. You've been to Ghana a few times. You got land in Ghana, which is big as fuck. That's dope. That's big.
But
that
didn't lock me out. If y'all just want to really talk about it, you gotta be vaccinated to get into Ghana now. And I'm not about to get vaccinated. You know what I'm saying? So I can't even land in the country right now. But I think they're gonna rescind it. You see what's going on in New York. You see what's going on in California. So I think it's gonna get rescinded.
The needle game it's gonna die off because we had World War 17. Y'all call it World War 3 all you want, but there's been more than 2. You'll get that at 3 in the morning. Right. So
because once you count all the proxy wars,
thank you.
Then you realize that there's been some conflicts that you be like, oh, it look like it's this too, but it's really in the shadows. It's all of these ones pouring it in, and all these was pouring in funds, resources, and they letting these pawns kill each other. Well, basically, how a lot of these wars go, this government force comes and raw dogs the civilians, right?
Yeah.
And makes them put up a flag. Then this government force or this other force comes and says, oh, y'all down with them, then they dog the civilians. So in a lot of these wars, it's just both sides basically just beat the shit out the civilians.
Yeah, it's virtual
they don't
ping-pong.
actually engage with each other, and then eventually they have peace talks.
Well, I think even to put it more specifically, the U.S. ain't fighting it's not fighting Russia per se, but they giving them all the guns though. You know what I'm saying? And then the Ukraine and Russia is fighting, but it's really the United States and NATO versus Russia in Ukraine's backyard. Yeah. And like you said, Ukraine is the grass when the elephants
fight.
People
like, oh no, we don't want America and Russia again. Man,
them motherfuckers having second wars.
The reason why Afghanistan was able to eventually beat the Russians because Americans went in and trained them and armed them.
Exactly.
And this is payback. You know what I'm saying? They've been going at it for 40 years and using
different
innocent people have spilled blood.
Mirrors, cloak and dagger.
Right.
What's up, Black Privilege, my brother?
And it's one of those things where you ain't even got to tell people, well, do your research like it's something mysterious or something. No, if you just actually pay attention and read articles and even go on things like Twitter, you'll see that, okay, this is much deeper than what CNN and Fox News is portraying, but it's also business as usual.
You know what's a trip about this war thing? I be watching the Indian news from India. And I like the Indian news because, they smash on Russia and the United States. It's not anti-Russia or something like that type of situation. They be talking about who be messing up on both sides.
Yeah, it's good to get a fresh perspective from outside of your jurisdiction,
and not
and
only
from
that,
a dog that's not in the fight.
What's the network?
WION. It's an Indian network in India.
Okay. And another good one to do is Al Jazeera.
Yeah,
Al Jazeera. That's the reason why at one point they used to try to block it and ban it, but really Al Jazeera and those type of websites can give you a kind of unbiased point of view. Yeah. And when you're trying to figure out things on a global level of what's really going on, go to these unbiased sources, because CNN is biased one way, MSNBC, Fox News,
I'm gonna go further than even bias. Operation Mockingbird, they CIA. It's controlled media. We don't realize we live in state media too.
Exactly.
They just call it NBC or HBO. You know what I'm saying? Or Paramount Films or Miramax. So that's why something like this is so important, because this is unscripted, and as you can see, we getting loaded, but we still talking real information.
Well, I came up in the era. I was in my prime when KRS-One then was dropping edutainment.
Right.
So I don't know about cats from the generation before me or after me, but in my generation, we didn't respect the art or the message if it wasn't saying something.
I agree. Hey, but I just want to say this one thing, because I'm a little bit younger than you. I respect KRS-One. Love's gonna get you. Self-destruction, criminal-minded by any means necessary. But what's up with him talking to us like we are need to be mentally assisted or something like that? With that, you must learn. We had to run. We had to run him up out of the Java House in the town in 2008 before.
Ego.
But that's what I'm saying. So I mean,
you got to remember, he was one of the, a lot of times when a lot of cats first get woke, they don't talk to people, they talk at them.
Right. Be on a Jehovah Witness.
But then eventually they grow out of it. KRS-One, a lot of people remember his first album was Criminal Minded.
Right.
Then he got woke.
Right.
But he never grew out that stage of, you niggas just don't know. And I'm the only one that can come tell you. He never grew past that stage. And for any of you out there that's trying to get a message, you get a lot more people to hear you when you talk to them and not at them. You know what I'm saying? And KRS-One, unfortunately, is one of those cats that never got past that stage of wokeness, when you so woke and you got to wake everybody up.
And you're the only one on the woke stage.
Right. And even other cats has been woke. Well, y'all ain't doing enough. So you got bullets for them.
Right.
So you got no comrades. You just, I'm just an island.
When you really start learning, and I ain't go defending, but I'm just going to say, even from my own experience.
Kenyelle is telling the truth in the comments.
Hey, Kenyelle. How you doing, sis? We're going to get you on here, too.
Tyrone, what's up, blood?
What's happening, fam? Vaughn, what's good? When you really start learning some of these things that are hidden from you, you do get angry.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing, but how you process that anger.
But you eventually grow to the point where you understand that it's...
But you get angry.
You got to meet people where they're at and then try to elevate them as opposed to dragging them.
Now, you niggas...
Because you just get a cold personality.
Still eating pig feet, which, I mean, still, you niggas still eating pig feet? Yeah, I'm going to say, you niggas still eating pig feet?
I remember in my era, a lot of cats were still wearing jerry curls and perms, right? And that became one of the things. If you was woke or not, or did you have a processed head, right? Yeah. And the Gavin was going on over in Frisco. And it was some couple cats, ex-clan, and they was in their prime. And a couple cats. This one particular cat got on the microphone, and somebody leaned back, and this person had dreads. And they leaned back, and they said, basically, how do you feel about the people with the processed heads? And everybody was like, yeah, because that was heavy. Because, anybody had a jerry curl or a perm, or it was just...
They was for the fall. And
the guy said, I really, to tell the truth, don't care about what you wear in your hair, having processed head. Do you have a processed mind? He said, little ladies down at the church right now with jerry curls and wigs on that's out feeding the poor, visiting the sick, and really trying to build. And you got people in here with dreads on, and all they doing is smoking weed and talking about the revolution. So they got processed hairdos,
who's the man?
But who's got a processed mind?
Right.
Well, you know,
and I was like, wow, that hit me because I was still young at the time, and I was like, yeah, you're right. Because a lot of what we was seeing was performative. Cats was getting dreads, and they was smoking weed, and they was suddenly so deep, but they was not actually doing
the work.
Like, I'm talking about, like, no work was being done. Like,
well, that's a trip that you say that, because when we ran KRS-One out of Oakland, it was at Dwayne Wiggins when he had the Java House, and it was right next door at the Malanga Center.
Scary X.
And shout out to Scary X.
Happy belated birthday.
You know, March 6th. Straight salute to the brother. But I asked KRS-One, and he got pissed off. I asked KRS-One straight up, you know, you tell me what's conscious. You saying all this black power shit for Sony or whoever the fuck you picking cotton for on your musical plantation, or Too Short. He talking about bitches and hoes, but everybody black making money off of it. You got Dean Hodges, you got, you know what I'm saying, all these Chris Hicks and them, and you got all these different people. So you tell me what's more revolutionary, what you saying, picking cotton, or what bruh's doing, but he might not be saying what you want him to say. And KRS-One ended up leaving.
Processed head, or processed heart, or processed mind, you know?
And it comes from that self-righteous, bougie type shit. See, that's one of the problems I do have with conscious rap, is from knowing a lot of the conscious rappers, with the exception of people like Ascari, a lot of times they be nerds, and this be the only way they found in. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't fit with the streets.
Talib Kweli.
Yeah, say that again. What you say?
Talib Kweli.
Right, they be
on the social media going bad, so bad. And
I don't follow him, but I know.
I used to fuck with him. I used to fuck with his music back in the day, but now that I get little bit more of a glimpse of who he is as a person, I'll be like, nah, I wouldn't like you. I wouldn't kick it with you.
Well, I think that because I know that you have a long history with the coup. I think that Oakland speaks to a different thing in consciousness. You don't have to have the dreads and 27 Africa tattoos to be a revolutionary out here. We don't look the look, but we got the mind. You know, Huey Newton, you barely seen him in a uniform, but he was still the leader of the Black Panthers.
Right. Well, the thing is that back in the days we would do shows, right?
You talking about the coup?
Yeah, but we would do like these. There used to be a place downtown called Concepts Cultural Gallery, and they used to give it to us and let us do shows in there, right? And we'd do shows, but we'd have shows where you'd have a cat come up and be on some straight revolutionary, right? Then the Scary X would come perform, but then the Scary X had a group called RBGs, right?
Black Gorillas.
And they had a song called "I Got My Nine" because the spot is hot. You know what I'm saying? So. I hate to use the word diverse, but we're very diverse in our conscious thoughts, whereas in some other places, I've noticed it's more dogmatic. And if you don't march this certain way or you don't have this certain ideology,
then
exactly. And that's why, like, you know, and I've noticed New York and Philly is very dogmatic, and you got to have the Muslim aspect in it, or you know, or it won't be a 7. New York is very, this is how it is, and anything else is
not there.
And whereas the Bay, we was more like, okay, you might be damn near pimping, you might be selling some dope. I sell the little red book in front of UC Berkeley, but at the end of the day, we all kind of agree on some things, so we can all rock together.
Right.
And then on the flip side, the red book person can organize the community because they was a part of it. They wasn't talking to it or talking at it. Right. So I think that speak to, you know, the difference in it.
Exactly.
Because I'm going to keep it real. I feel like when I hear people like KRS-One speak, I feel like you talking to me like I'm retarded or like I'm below you.
Yeah, I can't get behind what you're saying.
That's why, you know, I can't. I mean, but I'm interested in, what do y'all think? What happened with conscious rap during the pandemic, man? Where did all the conscious rappers go? You know what I'm saying? Nobody said nothing. You know, shout out to Fadila from Sabrani Park. She a conscious rapper who put out some stuff. But Queen Dila. But where was all the conscious rappers?
She been on her grind for a while too.
Yeah, she out there in Austin, Texas. You know, Queen Dila doing her thing. But other than that, we didn't see the year 2000 or the 1990s rappers say anything, to be honest. Cardi B and Nicki Minaj is the ones who took the title. And Cardi said, "Don't get the shot because my cousin nuts," or something she was saying about not getting the shot.
Yeah, and it was they.
How did they come with the most consciousness?
Because that was.
But one thing I gotta say, as a hey Tiff.
What's up, Tiff?
At the end of the day, I'm a true b-boy. Cause I grew up in one of them
when
houses.
When you say b-boy, you talking about you get on the floor and break dance and spin on your head?
I mean, I'm from that era. I just didn't have no rhythm.
Right, so but I would be the b-boy. You just a hip hop head.
I'd be the cat that go get the cardboard and make the crowd back up so this cat can cook.
Look, he want a position for that. He said, "I'm the cardboard man. I hold the radio."
Yeah. Hey, but weed carriers was respected in my day. Now it's just flunkies. But I wasn't never flunky because I'd be the cat. So I was one of them cats. I would show up with my own records at the party. Because I know the DJ for that some bullshit. So here I got Rockberry, I
brought your own records with no equipment.
I was that dude, like, I'm not the DJ, but I'm at the door. with
you just take people's shit over.
I was the record, huh, blood, play this. But one of the things though that as a real hip hop guy, I don't mind if somebody is a gangster rapper, if they a Christian rapper, if they a conscious rapper.
As long as it's dope.
As long as the key thing is you are a rapper.
Right.
And what I found is a lot of people who don't necessarily have had the talent to compete, they then attach a gimmick. Oh, I'm a Christian rapper. Right. I can't really compete with these cats, so I'll be a Christian rapper. And then I'll get all these people over here to be like, okay, he's a Christian rapper. I'll buy his stuff and give it to the kid. Like it's been a gimmick. Or I'll be woke.
Right.
Or I'll be not gangster. I'll be outlandishly gangster. Right. Or I'm sawing a nigga head off in the middle of the bars. And I always been like, reel it in. At the end of the day, if you're going to use hip-hop as a vehicle to get whatever message you out or whatever that, then really be about this hip-hop. Really be about your bars. Really make your music entertaining. And then, whatever message that you're talking about, whatever lane you got, when your shit is entertaining, the message will get there. But I know there's a lot of cats that's woke, and a lot of cats that got on the gospel rap or whatever, or even niggas even trying to do country rap. It's damn near. It comes off as a gimmick,
right?
And then that don't translate.
Well, I think we got to realize before it's the message, it's the music. It's conscious music. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, if you ain't into the music, just do a speech.
Bob Marley wouldn't have been as powerful if he was on that motherfucker yodeling. At the end of the day, I know so many people that listen to Bob Marley music who don't get the fucking message. But the music sounds so good. But there's been some people who listen to the music and then eventually got the message.
Right.
Music speaks to you universally. Music speaks to your DNA. You'll get that at 3 in the morning.
And that's the thing we really talk about, vibrations, stuff like that. At the end of the day, you got to vibe with the people and let them connect.
It's just like, remember, analog, you went from live music to albums, 45s. Then you went to cassette tapes. Then it went to
33s.
Oh yeah, the 33s. Then it went to CDs, analog.
That's what
But music, when they switched the format, you know why the music format was switched?
From what to what?
Industry will tell you for clarity and it's easier to stream. The hertz that you listened to the music to spoke to you. It resonated and touched. It brought stuff. I'm giving y'all some science right now.
You talking about chakras and all that type of stuff.
Oh, yeah, I'm deep. You know what I'm saying? I know some shit. I know a little bit of something. I don't know everything. I don't even know half the shit, but I know something.
Right.
Talk to him there, big dog. Talk to him.
I don't know half of shit, but I know something. They changed the format of music because music has been dumbed down. You look at...
And what was your turning point that you felt that started getting dumbed down?
Music started getting dumbed... Please. Oh, Mark got it. Music started getting dumbed down in the 80s and in the 90s. To be honest with you,
but I noticed a really conflict.
I noticed
a really heavy shift around 93.
They was feeding both wolves.
Hey, what's up?
After
93, 94 was when I saw it really hard to get for a person who wasn't on some gangster shit to eat.
Right.
Why can you say that? You got Brand Nubian, you got Poor Righteous Teachers, you got Public Enemy, you got Ascari X, you got The Cool, you got Paris. All last in 94. Yeah. You got Tupac.
I'm saying that's when the shift began.
They started.
Not when it went hard there.
I mean, so when did the music?
But that's
die?
when you started noticing the shift. I mean, eventually, it didn't die all the way because you still got some cats that still drop some jewels. But I'm just saying, it became harder. Post 93.
I'll go as far as to say 2005, because then you got rid of the Dead Presidents, the Most Defs, the Ericas, the Jills. By 2005, most of them they were seen as older artists. You know what I'm saying? They came out in 2000. But I'm saying since then, we haven't had another wave of conscious music since the Erykah Badu, Mos Def,
and you know
Dave
why?
Chappelle.
I think because everything's ass shaking and don't get me wrong.
But I think it goes in waves. You know what I'm saying?
It don't come back. Everything is it's 360 degrees of elevation.
Because I don't know if Public Enemy would have came if we didn't have Luke. In Too Short, we had to have both of the wild.
But at the end of the day, Public Enemy music really fucking rocked.
You know
what I'm saying? So man, they shit really slapped. So
I'm not saying they didn't slap. I'm just saying that the message music comes. First,
telling the truth.
There's a Public Enemy era, and then there's the NWA era, and they always go back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like if we go to the late '90s.
Remember, NWA was a Public Enemy opening act.
Yeah. Right, but then remember, if we go from the '90s and the 2000s. Tupac was a conscious artist, but wasn't seen as much as a conscious artist. But if you listen to his first album, it was all conscious music. Yeah. But then we went from that, and then in 2000s, we got into a Dead Prez. So it went back to a Public Enemy era from a NWA era, which was the Pac. So I'm just saying, I think I don't know if we in the NWA era, because I don't hear nobody too much resisting the police or resisting the system. But we are on some
Tupac is a good example to use because even though he had a lot of conscious moments, he was heavily contradictory.
I agree.
And I think it's one of the things, because people be like, since a lot of hip hop trades on authenticity, like people will be like, oh, you don't expect Al Pacino. People use that dumbass analogy, like you don't expect Al Pacino and them to do this and that. Well, if Al Pacino got in the interviews and said, you should watch my mob movies instead of blue mob movies because I really did that shit, people then going to start researching his arrest record. People going to want to be like, okay, you did that shit. So in hip-hop...
What you were saying about Pac?
Well, Pac, especially in the Death Row days and on All Eyes on Me, cut at least in his public persona was a contradictory image to the kind of woke dude he was beforehand.
Now let me ask you why you said that.
I said it because because to me, I just saw a nigga wilding during his death row days.
But then what I would say to that, as somebody who wants some conscious shit, but I also been shot. Getting shot do that to you sometimes. You got a certain scaredness in you that you got to root out of you or you won't be able to function in society. So a lot of times people get shot, they either end up going to church or end up thinking that they a superhero.
But here, let me go on record just to say this. I love Tupac. I love Tupac's music, but I saw Tupac too many times in person and saw his actions in real life to ever feel like Tupac. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me address it two ways. I think one.
But then
he was of a certain age. He was a certain age. Second off,
no telling what he would have grew to be.
Well, I'm gonna just say this with myself. I know that I could be a contradiction at times. Yeah, I'm very well read, but I might fight and stab a nigga too. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here on Cognac Confessionals, but I also be solely vegan sometimes. Right. You know, and then other times I'm in the corner smoking hella weed. And so I'm saying that to say,
don't get me wrong, I don't hold that that against him because I preach righteousness. But I'm gonna go do a drug deal this weekend. So and it don't matter if fans, you can't prove it. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I understand completely being a contradiction in terms. You know what I'm saying? You know.
But let me ask you this though. Is it realer to be a conscious artist who stays in one direction, like say Chuck D? Mm-hmm. Or is it realer to be a Tupac and be a man with contradictions? But I mean, I would say that the real man in real life live with contradictions. Nobody lives like Chuck D. Even Chuck D don't live like Chuck D. Like I asked Chuck D when Flavor Flav had Flavor of Love, I asked him, why you didn't fire Flavor Flav for disrespecting y'all brand the way you fired Griff for saying that about the Jews? And he flipped out like Al Pacino. This is my group. So my point was that Chuck D never gets shown on camera. And that this is his group. Wasn't Public Enemy, the people, the nation, wasn't none of that.
Facts, Peaches.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was Peaches, man. You having like a secret conversation with Peaches?
No. We in the comments.
Oh, okay. I just hear Peaches every 90 seconds. Yeah, peace, Peaches. Shout out to Daryl.
No, she in the comments. In the comments.
Watching the comments.
But this is the point where I was saying why conscious artists ain't working is because hip hop fans nowadays expect a certain level of authenticity. But another thing about hip hop fans, unfortunately, is they don't allow growth. So if you're supposed to be this, then you got to be this, even on your 10th album 20 years later. Mm-hmm. So that's why you got cats who dropped the album in 98, knowing they ain't on the block, but in 2021 they still talking drug talk. Or cat who ain't even seen a gun still got to talk gun talk.
But let me ask you.
Hold on. But for conscious artists, if you come out conscious, then they expect you got to be conscious 24/7. And if there's one incident in your life that you wasn't contradicting, see, he's a fraud. Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
I think even the Bay feel like that because I feel like...
No, but we're a unique area.
Okay, because I was saying, like, the coup. I feel like when the coup was at its strongest, in my opinion...
True that,
was
Denise.
Genocide and Juice. And in Genocide and Juice, it wasn't your quote-unquote conscious coup album and you didn't see the Tom Morellos of Rage Against the Machine. It wasn't none of that. It was Spice One, E40 was featured on the album.
Santa Rita Weekend.
Yeah, Santa Rita Weekend.
One of the greatest songs that never got clearance. Jive punk ass did not clear the song.
But it came out on the album. How did it get cleared?
Yeah, but they didn't clear it for a video appearance.
Okay.
So they wouldn't have cleared 40 and Spice to do a video and have it released as a single.
I want to say that that's one of the greatest unheard of hip hop albums.
Genocide,
you know what I'm saying? Genocide
Juice.
You know what I'm saying? Taking Knees and just to
you got to understand that album was positioned to be a blockbuster conscious album, but there was management issues behind. Basically, a grifter got in position, and
what's a grifter?
A con artist, a fraud.
Okay.
A nigga who wasn't who he said he was.
Okay.
But he ended up getting in position, and what fucked the album up is when Boots came out the studio with that album, I said, Jesus Christ, this is a great fucking album. And sometimes when you be close to somebody, you can take them for granted. So to actually be like, wow, dude, you're not normal.
Right, this ain't no average shit.
You truly created some shit. Like, I'm not even looking at you no more as my partner. I'm looking at you like, okay, wow.
Right.
There was a sample on a song called Taking These that sampled Rod Temperton, who did a lot of Michael Jackson stuff, did a lot of Off the Wall and Give Me the Night and stuff like that, right?
The disco sample.
And this particular manager
was a good-ass song back in the day.
Was tasked with clearing the sample, right? And they went to Rod Temperton's people, and Rod Temperton said, I don't fuck with rap. No. And remember, this is the era that they
when
took...
MTV wasn't playing
But
rap.
they took... What was his name? He died not too long ago. You got a friend? She's just a friend.
Oh, Biz Markie.
Biz Markie actually left out the courtroom in handcuffs over samples. So this was that era. Samples was serious music. Rod Temperton hated samples. This particular manager actually wasn't into music. He just jumped into music because, I can get paid off this shit. But he wasn't really a fan. See, anybody of us...
So what did he do?
Well, if I tell you, any of us would have knew Rod Temperton was sitting on millions if this was a major person. But this person, not being into music, thought Rod Temperton was just a guy. In fact, thought he was some old school guy and was probably broke. This man produced off the wall.
Right.
So not really knowing music, just being a slick hustler, he figured, when the album drops, dude will
see what's good.
And he'll get a couple dollars and he'll chill out. So he told the label that he had the clearances. They dropped it and they even filmed a music video. The music video was $30,000, which was some major paper in 1994. It's major paper right now. If a nigga got $30,000 in the parking lot, I'll fuck around and do something to him if he ain't one of y'all folks, because I'm trying to get paid. But in 1994, $30,000 was woo. Well, they filmed this video, and Rod Temperton's lawyers came back and said, I don't fuck with rap. You can't pay me. You can't give me no publishing. You can't do nothing. Fuck you. Take my shit off of there. EMI was the co-distributor of the album.
Right.
EMI, because they were so pumped off the album, has spent hundreds of thousands and pressed up 500,000 cassette singles.
500,000.
And spent $30,000 on the video. They spent like damn near $1 million getting ready for the rollout to this song. And they had to pull the song. They had to pull the video. They had to pull these 500,000 cassettes.
These videos came out. These videos came out because it was controversial.
Boots went back in, and since we had the video shot, Boots went back in and created a whole new track. And on taking these videos, that's the track you're actually hearing.
So that's not the original.
Yeah, but the Rod Temperton track was on these 500,000 cassette singles that I think is probably still sitting in a warehouse somewhere.
They probably burnt them.
Now EMI spent all this money and they're fucking pissed because they just had to take it on the L, and this manager told them shit was good. And they like, okay, how can we, but this is a great album. So then motherfucker said, okay, we'll make Santa Rita Weekend the second single, 40 is platinum, Spice is platinum, and that'll bring the album. And then the manager couldn't get the clearances from Jive for them to appear in the video, and that's when the label literally chalked Genocide and Juice. They just threw it out there, and they took a major lap. But Genocide and Juice was a great album.
That was the era of a lot of dope albums that didn't do nothing.
It was a great album from top to bottom. Genocide and Juice was a great album.
That was one of the best cool albums, period. But one of the best political rap albums. But you got to remember, that same time,
that type of shit,
Message to the Black Man came out at that time. Remember, that was a dope album musically. The Scary X, he was killing it. Mike D on the production.
But I think conscious rap overall would have went in a different direction because the whole machine of the industry was willing to be behind Genocide and Juice. They was going to spend the necessary money. They was expecting it to be a blockbuster album, and as we both know, the industry rarely gets behind a conscious music.
Let's keep it real. Yeah. Is it really a coincidence like that, or do we think that the
Alphabet
Boys probably got involved somewhere somehow?
I think they might have been putting some pressure, but I know that on the being a directly involved level, I know that there was a manager who made a couple fundamental mistakes that then allowed the Alphabet Boys to be able to exert their pressure.
But I still, but no matter what, because I didn't even know all that till right now, and I know Boots and them for years. But that was a dope album that never got a real.
Fish, that was a great album.
That was the only single, and it should have been about 3 or 4 singles. Like
that's the first 2 singles got fucked off. Yeah,
but I'm just saying, a lot more could have been done with the album. It wasn't. I think it was Dog Day or somebody.
EMI had a dollar for dollar deal. And EMI at that point was kind of in partnership with Virgin and everything like that. And EMI had basically wanted to distribute the Ghetto Boys, right? And there was so much protest behind the Ghetto Boys that they basically formed a new label called New Tribe, which was to basically distribute a way to distribute the Ghetto Boys without putting their name on it. Then New Tribe signed the Loonies, and 5 on it went worldwide. So they looked up, and they spending this much money on the Ghetto Boys, and shit is going platinum. They spending this much money on the Loonies, shit is going platinum, and you spending this much money on the Coup, and shit is not even being able to be released. So the bean counters shifted the focus of New Tribe and EMI to let's go with this shit to sell, and that left Genocide and Juice to basically wither on the vine. Even though it was a great album, it was a work of art from top to bottom.
But like I said, that came out in an era when it was a lot of dope albums that kind of got smothered.
Oh yeah,
you know, Farside, Lab Cabin California was a dope album at that time. Also,
yes, it was from top to bottom.
You know that they just hooked up with a brother that live on Ocean, and Farside is coming back.
That, but they spelling it a little different.
They spelling it like the cartoon now. Remember Farside, the cartoon? The strip used to be FAR side.
And some of y'all younger folks, if you want to get into some great old school hip hop, because I don't hear that album even talked about anymore.
It's a dope album.
Go check out that Farside album.
Check out
man.
both of them.
It's really great.
Because they talk a lot, a lot of times we talk about Jay Dilla and a lot of that, but the West had a lot going on, man. We just never got our credit.
Divine Styler.
Who was that?
Divine Styler was a dude who was part of the Rhyme Syndicate. That's why Ice-T was so dope.
I remember the Rhyme
Syndicate. Syndicate had people like Divine Styler, who was basically woke, but then they also had Volume 10. Pistol grip pump on my lap at all times.
You talking about Mac 10?
No, that was Volume 10.
Volume 10, that's a rapper?
Yeah. That was his only single, Pistol Grip Pump, Volume 10.
I thought that was
but the thing is that Volume 10, remember they had a thing down there, they had this scene called the Good Life Cafe.
I do remember
and this and that. And that's when the origin of what they used to call backpack rappers. Volume 10 was a backpack rapper. And somebody said, you got to make a commercial single. So he's like, all right, fuck it. Because he was on some woke shit. And he made damn near a joke song. Oh, okay, y'all niggas want me to be gangster one time for the single. All right, I got a pistol grip. And the shit blew.
Right. But you saying Good Life Cafe, that's the home of people like Freestyle Fellowship.
Exactly. You know your history.
Yeah, real hip-hop.
He know his history.
Yeah, real hip hop.
Freestyle, AC Alone, things like that.
Abstract
the Licks,
Medusa,
Exhibit. A lot of people from there came out of that scene. And one of the things about that was it didn't matter. The Good Life Cafe, the Freestyle Fellowship, that Skid Row, Rat Pack was there. One of their things was it, and like I always say, it don't matter if you're conscious, it don't matter if you're gospel, none of that. You got to be able to spit.
No doubt. You got to be dope. Now, are you up on the Chaos Network? Because after Good Life Cafe, they came to Chaos right there in Lamar Park.
No, I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, the Chaos Network is still popping. And now, one of the new people who is out of that line, or Abstract Rude and the group Freestyle Fellowship, and you heard of Georgia Ann Muldrow.
I've heard of it, but I don't know really.
She just produced that album. Okay, I got something. Y'all remember that song by Erykah Badu? What if there was no niggas, only master teachers? I'd stay woke. You remember that?
I don't remember that one.
She got one that was probably about her third, fourth album. But anyway,
Georgia, but Badu used to drop dimes, $3.06, $3.06.
$3. Wait, $3. Yeah, what you said, $3.60. But what I would say even about Badu. And I think this plays into what we was talking about. Badu, just like Ascari, they did an actual concert together before for political prisoners.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, we got a picture of it, and I was there.
Right, now, no cursing either.
You know, but what I was going to say about Badu, she, I think, represents, because I disagree that consciousness has contradictions. I would say that consciousness means...
You just people.
Yeah, you just people. If I'm conscious that I have cancer, it don't mean that I'm fighting it every second. It means that I know I got it. But it doesn't mean I'm fighting it every second. So I think that, back to what we was talking about earlier, when you was talking about conscious rap, I think we got to get out of that as a black community and thinking that, because Tupac saying this, he can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's what the
because the reality is just because you conscious, you still want to fuck.
Exactly.
You still might want to fight.
Yeah. But we don't allow growth.
I'm going to protect the sisters, but
we don't really necessarily allow growth, and we don't allow a person to be outside. So if you gangster, if you supposed to be gangster, if I catch you outside the ice cream parlor with your family, you still got to be with the shit.
But I asked you, I'm gonna give you a pass.
But I asked you,
no, you got to be y'all.
What do y'all think of? Ascari X is a perfect example. Perfect example because I think he represents, X didn't had his struggles in life and all of that we know about and all of that. But the man that put one of the hardest some of the hardest music ever.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? In hip hop history.
A true talent.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all I can say about Scar.
Hip hop genius. Yeah. But then he had his struggles. Is that to say that because he had struggles that his music is not true?
What man doesn't have struggles?
Yeah. Huey Newton had struggles. Scars, he was colder than most of these people previous.
Yeah. Scars build character.
Facts. I mean, complete facts. But like I said, in the hip hop industry, sometimes amongst the hip hop fans, they bought into the narrative that if you're 42, you're old.
That's where I was.
If you're 42, you're old. If you show any type of growth and development, you sold off. Yeah. Find out that you wasn't killing niggas at the age of 11.
Well, wait. Let me ask you, because I know that was the stereotype. Mm-hmm. Now that we're in the era of Kanye, do y'all think that's still the thing?
Get on that nigga.
Because Kanye, I mean, if we're going to use the word contradiction, Kanye is a contradiction. But I think people love him.
I'll give him a pass because he's such a great artist.
Now, I'm going to say this. I met Kanye twice. I got into it with Kanye twice. But I still love Kanye music. Now, do I like the man? I'm not going to say I could sit here and be his friend. Huh?
I think he's a dweeb of a dude.
What I couldn't kick it with you. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to give you the perfect word.
Go for it.
I think Kanye is prissy.
That's a dweeb, prissy?
Yeah, he's very prissy.
He was a nigga that didn't come out and play Smear the Queer with us on the
he didn't. He was the one with the polo shirt who mama looked out for him, who went to the church, but he talked tough in the back of the Sunday school.
But you throw the ball at because he won't play tackle football with you, so he's walking in the store and you be like, catch, nigga. Stop.
Right, he one of them. But that's him on a personal level. Mm-hmm. Him on a musical level,
you can split.
Dude is a cold dude.
I got College Dropout in my top 10 hip hop albums.
Hey, that's the thing about it. But that's being multifaceted. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with you got to feed.
I wouldn't kick it with him, but I
always tell people that.
Exactly, me too.
People have different layers. if you're just one way, one track. If you're one track minded, track can definitely lead you to destruction. You got to be able to. You look at a diamond, you see green. You look at a diamond, you see blue. I look at a diamond, I see red. You look at the diamond, you see 5 colors. Who's the genius?
The 5 colors?
The 5 colors? They see more?
It's you. But yeah, I'm like, with a Kanye type artist. But on the flip side, you got the Little Durk.
No, but the question
people are literally mad. I be on Twitter and on Instagram, and people are literally mad in the comments that Durk hasn't personally went and murdered the guys who killed King Von. So thus,
I don't get
he's fake. Even though I'm like, the man just had his 6th kid and he's engaged, and he's a platinum artist. So I don't expect him to be in the streets gun battling. In fact, he'd be a goddamn idiot. But there's fans who be like, he didn't go get it back in blood.
You know what I think this is? We get caught up into like gangster soap operas.
Right.
Just shut up and play the music.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Dirk doing his
just
life.
Like blues music and country music, some aspects of country music, the fans want them to be the guy that they saying on the record. If you ain't killing people when you're not in the booth, I can't embrace you.
Well, I think that brings into another question, because I think I'm a little younger than y'all, but we come from a similar hip hop generation. Now, this drill rap is something totally different than what we used to. Mm-hmm. They talk about doing crimes. Exactly. It's to a different level. You know what I'm saying?
Because they sometimes are rapping and speaking on things that they actually
they telling on themselves.
I'm thinking that's kind of bizarre.
Right, but I'm saying now the culture is to act it all the way out on the anime.
Show you everything.
What do they call it? Mm-hmm. Demon time is what the youngsters call it now, and that's something to be proud of.
But since I'm old, I don't want you on demon time. Like if you get in my car and I'm about to give you a ride somewhere, I'm gonna be like, hey, blood, man, you ain't got no pistol on you or nothing like that, right, man? Because if you're on that other shit, I don't want to be around you. I got fucking grandkids. I don't want to be around you. Right. And I'm at the age I don't want to be sitting in Santa Rita with a bunch of hyphy motherfuckers.
Today,
I ain't on no demon time.
Here's the perfect painted picture of it. In Boys in the Hood, remember when Trey got out the car?
Yeah,
he would never sell an album if he was a rapper today. in this society that we live in, if he decided to get out the car, he can't put out no albums.
But just think how many
he may have all
in real
this
life
though.
that didn't get out the car.
He may
have got out the car.
Yeah,
and now they've been sitting.
But he may have all he may have all the answers. He may have all the answers. But because he decided to get out the car, today's society don't want him to put out no albums, which is bullshit. We live in a society, and it's social media and all that it's a double-edged sword. You got to learn. Like I said, you heard me say it several times. Feed both wolves, but you got to know how to finesse the source of the foundation.
But I think we spoke on something that's not getting enough attention, which is in our generation, one type of rap wasn't worshipped over others. You can listen to Public Enemy, NWA, Tupac, The Cool, De La Soul,
and Too Short.
And Too Short. So it wasn't a thing where now people feel like, I only listen to drill music. Or I only listen to this, or I only listen.
I mean, our greatest show we ever did was over in San Francisco, and it was The Coup, Souls of Mischief, and The Delinquents. Mm-hmm. Wow, you know what I'm saying? You can't even do a bill like that now because a person that might listen to a Delinquents type music ain't gonna want to hear that other shit, and vice versa.
Right.
Whereas in them days, like I said, we did a show one time. It was The Coup, Seagram, and RBG.
But what happened?
Oh, it was packed and everybody loved it.
What happened? When did rap grow outside of being able to do that? Because it's all
late 90s. To me, late 90s.
But what happened?
I don't think it was one thing in particular. It seemed like a lot of things.
The shift occurred because remember, we were learning. You had some rappers out there, Poor Righteous Teachers, and like you said, a Scar. You had some brothers that was about that business, but they was really like, look, there's a way. We're getting screwed, y'all. Y'all need to wake up. Remember Dax in School Days? Wake up!
Oh yeah.
We had that. And once
good evening, Johnny.
Once the gatekeepers started noticing, hey, they coming out they slumber.
But the Bay had independent hip hop, so we can't blame it on the gatekeepers.
Yeah. Listen. But the Bay is only, don't get me wrong, the Bay influences so much.
We're a small part though, but yes.
We influence so much, but yeah, we are a small part. But we do influence every part of hip hop. Everywhere. We influence it. There is. True. But like you said, we're only a small part. Mm-hmm. But
we've done our
once
part.
Those gatekeepers seen that hey y'all, the sleeping giant is starting to the finger moving, focus to, hey, y'all niggas talk about how y'all kill each other, how you hate motherfuckers, and I'm going to give you a $100 million deal, because this is what you niggas talk about, and talk about them chains that you got, that when we do the diamond test, the shit ain't going to go all the way up, but long as you sitting there, everybody else, we going to be like, oh, them niggas flossy. That's what I was a backpacker. And I was on that, hey, man, you know something? Yeah, man, put that pork down, man. Yeah, let's do it. Then it was, oh, man, we doing it. And then you got sisters out there, ooh, twerky, twerky, twerky. And I got and my pussy like this, and my and I make a nigga come quick. And it was, and everybody was like, because sex sells. Because remember, when crack don't sell,
cotton and
pussy
corn
will.
It'll sell before cotton and corn.
You know what I'm saying?
But you got to look at it like this, though. You also got the drug thing, because you got to remember.
We always going to have that.
The disco artists, a lot of the disco artists got completely exploited. They would sell 5-10 million records off a single and only get an 8-ball of coke.
I was finna say they get a gram and a half.
But then in the mid 80s, you had a lot of people that was like, it was lame to be on dope. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of the main artists in the late 80s and early 90s was like, nigga, you would sound stupid to be like, oh, I get high. And then suddenly it became a fly thing to get loaded.
After Eminem, it was the dope thing.
Yeah, it was, to be on some type of pill or something like that. And now these artists are easier to control because even though there's more of an economic engine behind hip hop,
yes,
cats is still signing these deals. I'm hearing about cats signing and getting a $50,000 advance and never seeing no other money, and they shit going platinum. I'm hearing a lot of people's like, this boy, NBA young boy, was got all these, the most watched dude on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And then I'm hearing that even though his name is on the Vivo, he's actually not getting paid off that YouTube. And I'm like, well, if he ain't getting paid off that YouTube, and he can't do no shows because it's chaos and mayhem at every show, how's he making any money?
But let's keep it real. You only making $1,200 off 1 million YouTube views. So it's not like YouTube is making anybody rich. But he's doing like 1 billion
views. But I'm just saying for a poor youngster from Baton Rouge who I don't even think he ain't even 21 yet.
No, I know exactly.
If he can make a couple hundred thousand off of videos that he's making in front of the porch.
No, I'm not.
Some decent money. No, and then I find out he ain't even getting that. That's my point. He ain't even getting that YouTube
I'm not
money.
disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is, one, the record company robbing them. But second, streaming, period, is robbing artists.
Yeah.
If you look at what you got to have on Spotify or YouTube to get paid and what dollar amount equivalates to how many hits, if I remember correctly, you get $1,200 a month for 1 million hits a month. That's nothing.
Pennies on
you know what I'm saying? So I mean, people is
but the artist like him that's got 1 billion views, you would think, okay, that he should be sitting on some bread. But I think my point was I already know he getting robbed by the label. But I think the question is, then I found out he ain't getting. But as a manager,
you know that it has to do with the contract that you signed before they pump the money into you.
Right.
And if you signed a stupid contract, that's why they pumped the money into you, because they knew that you was a puppet and you couldn't do nothing. Exactly. And that's the story of so many artists' life.
A lot of these cats come like Don King. I'm your folks. I'm the one you can count on. In fact, I once had a cat out of Richmond. I ain't going to put his name on blast, but I at one point considered him a good friend. And then at one point we started talking about artists signing bunk deals. And he basically like, nigga signed the contract, this and that. And I was sitting there like, if a nigga come to you and be like, I'm your bro, I'm your pal, and really got you embraced like that, and get you to trust in him, and he slides you a bad contract, and hey, sweetie, I got a seat for you, and he slides you a bad contract, and you don't think that person is janky, then you ain't the type of person that I can rock with.
But let's keep it real though. How can you say that after the song Check the Rhyme? A Tribe Called Quest then dropped the song.
Hey, y'all, we got Pretty Tony in the building.
Pretty Tony was happening.
Pretty Tony got her scarf on. Don't judge her.
Hey, but see, here's the thing. It don't matter if she's got a scarf on, because at the end of the day, she's Pretty Tony.
What's up, y'all?
But what I was saying was, we learned with Check the Rhyme. Industry rule number 4080. Record company people are shady. So now, if you fuck up and you don't reach your contract after they done released a commercially successful song that said that, I mean, at some point you gotta take responsibility. You can't. I can't keep knocking the white man or the devilish black man.
Well, if it's on your second or third contract, if it's on your second or third contract, but if you're a youngster fresh off the block,
I mean, wait, but I'm gonna say this: everybody that get into this gangster rap shit act like they got some kind of game. They act like they got some kind of game, but then they get pimped with the same game that the hoes on the corner get pimped with. Exactly. I buy you some tennis shoes, or I give you $20,000. Pharaoh, I'm talking to you, man. Why you over there getting pimped?
Yeah,
I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? You over there getting pimped. You know what I'm talking about? Pretty Tony. Hey, Tony, I give you a shout out because you just show how quick the pimping can commence. Pharaoh got took all the way out the conversation. Hey, the pretty face that took Pharaoh out the whole conversation.
Don't kill game, man.
You know what I mean? All the way out the conversation.
Here's the thing.
Carry on, good brother.
So I'm going to piggyback off what you said. Here's the thing. You got to think about it. If I'm a young kid, artist, whatever, right? And I grew up my mom was on AFDC. You know that I'm an old school nigga.
Yeah.
I call it AFDC, food stamps.
These niggas don't pretend like they. I'm not able to pretend like they don't know.
I grew up not having shit. And some record label, because I'm rapping. You know, I started rapping in the bathroom.
Right, you the hoe. They present you with the tennis shoes.
They get, exactly. This motherfucker come and say, look, man.
Come get down with
this check, like you said, $20,000, $30,000.
More money you ever seen in your life.
And you like, man, I'm living my hand to foot, hand to mouth. Like my grandma told me, don't be in life living hand to mouth. And if you don't know what that means worse than paycheck to paycheck. Right. So, and now I get this opportunity that I'm like, man.
But that's how the pimping works.
That's how they pimp you. It's a pimp whole world.
I mean, it's called capitalism. That's the whole shit that we live in. So I'm asking Pharaoh, how can you I mean, at this point, I'm not saying that the Devils is cool that's exploiting the people, but at the same time, artists we didn't have 30, 40 years of independent music.
I'm still never a fan of exploitation.
I'm not a fan of exploitation either, but I'm not a fan of ignorance either.
Yeah.
If you call yourself an artist and you want to get into the business, then you have a responsibility to learn the business. But music is one thing. This is the music business, though.
I agree with you, but here's the thing, which I've always said. Look at social media. You look at everything. You got artists now who make a video 30 seconds, 60 seconds, which all this, remember I spoke when I said the attention span. Remember, Instagram, what was it, 7 seconds at first? Then it was 15 seconds. Then it was 30 seconds. Now you get a minute. Now you do lives and reels. But they focus on your attention span. If I only need 7 seconds to make an impression, if you ain't and you're going to be hooked on that 7 seconds, that 15 seconds.
I mean, so what you saying?
They dumb you down because all I want you to think is if you think for a minute, if you sit back and think for a minute to get a peace of mind, can you get a peace of mind in 7 seconds?
Nah, if you can use a minute, you don't.
So if I can cram it and keep you distracted, you're always not focused on what you should be focused on. Because I'm gonna give you that, like you said, I'm gonna give you them tennis shoes.
But at the same time, as us as black men, we've been knowing a lot of this game. Like I said, Check the Rhyme came out when I was probably 16 years old. I'm 40 plus. So that means we've been close to 30 years in game. Now, if the youngsters of today are still signing these stupid ass contracts, that's our fault as a community. Right. And I'm not just going to say, I mean, the exploiter is not going to stop being the exploiter. It's a matter of, is the oppressed going to wake up, or is the oppressed going to keep following the same hamster cycle? At what point does the people who is on the front line tell the youngsters, this is what y'all coming up against, prepare for it? To that extent, I can't have the same argument that the people in 1994 had, because we in a whole different era and we didn't have so much time to reflect on that. Now it's dumb motherfuckers doing that.
But what happens is, I agree with you first and foremost. But what I'm saying is, the gatekeepers also be like, okay, the niggas waking up. They move the goalposts. They make it easier, because like I said, which was my point on, you got people who can make a TikTok video or this and this, and now they stream now, because remember, everybody wants instant microwave success, popcorn success. Right. Put it in the microwave, push that button, 3 minutes, and I'm famous.
Hold on.
I come from an old school.
Hey, wait, shout out to my man Michael Turner, Michael Nitro. He said, man, I never thought I would see the era when grown man is hip-hopping, TikToking, lip-locking, so that they can go viral. I thought that was so funny.
And that's because it's like the lotto.
Hey, let me ask you this. Why is grown men in our generation on TikTok?
I don't have a TikTok. I don't even have a Twitter.
You got a product to sell.
I ain't talking about product. I'm talking about the dance routine.
I don't have a TikTok.
What is these grown men doing, man?
I can't see that.
Do you be trying to go viral, Pharaoh? You and your family?
Absolutely not. I'm trying to sell movies. But my thing, though, is that. But my point, what I was saying, though, is that.
Let me finish my
I can look at a nigga say he's a dumbass, but I can also hate the nigga that's pimping the dumbass too.
But if you voluntarily wait. If you voluntarily dumb, I hate both of y'all.
Here's the thing: we live in a society. Like I said, you got the instant microwave popcorn society. Nobody wants to put in the work, because remember, if I'm the gatekeeper, I always make myself be the bad guy in the scenario. Right? I'm the gatekeeper. You know something? If I let 3 of y'all through, the rest of y'all gonna be like, see, it is possible. But you sitting here, like, I'm with you, but you sitting here, no, y'all, we need to, fuck that, we need to trench, we need to dig, we doing plumbing. I'm gonna go with a craft tool job, a trade job, we doing plumbing. We gotta dig this trench. And I'm sitting here like, nah, we can go trenchless. We can go trenchless and get the shit done.
But you saying
motherfuckers don't put
the work in.
Exactly.
They don't know that there's work to be put in.
And it's a double-edged sword. It's gatekeepers' fault, but at the same time, you got the drugs that happen to our community. You got all this shit, but then, like I said, they throw the motherfucking lollipop, the lottery winnings to motherfuckers the motherfuckers who don't deserve to win sometimes. And I'm not hating, I'm not, but that's not by accident. People, you be like, how this motherfucker get there? Not saying that you hating, you just like, wow, they did it. Right. Okay, I could do it too, because there's hope in that, and that's a good thing, and they play on that.
Right.
So people want to do it quick. Everybody want to take a shortcut. Nobody don't want to make no motherfucking not tri-tip, but the fucking fuck, and I cook too. Fuck, I'm having a brain fart right now. Fuck. But anyway, nobody want to do the 14-hour slow roast on to make your meat.
Right, we in the digital age.
Motherfuckers want to pull up, order the shit, and have it done. No, the old school way was, remember, I come from an era where your mama, your grandma, whatever, she made Sunday dinner, but she started Saturday. She might have started Friday, prepping.
Right.
Sunday dinner was the shit. And just like when I cook and I post shit, I call it shit up.
Sunday dinner was the event of the week.
Exactly.
You know? And shout out to my grandmama. Mama Hooker, Grandma Hooker, 83rd and Holly. You know, she would do that. Friday, we make sure we had the groceries. Saturday,
you
she
be there shucking peas or whatever, doing whatever. That shit was the process. Nobody wants to do the fucking work. That's the real.
Well, let me ask you though. We in the digital age. The society promotes that. You know what I'm saying?
By accident.
No, you're right. But at the same people who say they tired of all this microwavable shit is the same people who's not studying to speak on something. So my question is just like when we talk about financial health. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to be rich without an investment. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to take step 1, 2, and 3 before you can get to step 26, 27, and 28. Right. And we not into, and I'm not even just talking about financial investment because we can see that that's tangible. That's easy to conceive. Yes. But we don't invest in ourselves. We don't invest in our children enough where, I don't think that as black people, we should be having the same issues that we had 50 years ago. Mm-hmm. If we do, that's a failure on the man in particular. Not only the man, but as a man, on the man in particular. If the is still not getting the same shit that they wasn't getting in 95, I'm a failure. Because I was one of the teenagers in 95 and I knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I replicated the problem. And I think that we got to start. I'm not a Kanye fan in that respect, where Kanye likes to, you know what I'm saying, act like the oppressor.
He
likes to act like wait, let me say this. He likes to act like the oppressor is not the oppressor at times when he wear the slave Confederate flag and all that. I'm not doing that. But at the same time, I am forward thinking and saying this white man shit is getting old. At what point do we got to take responsibility for us and ours?
You're right.
And I'm not alleviating the oppressor because it's still an oppressor, and I realize that. But at the same time, I am telling my people, come on, man, you got to step it up. I know you are worth more than what you contributed, and you're capable of more than what you're contributing. You just not doing it. And as we talk about the rap from last generation, come on, man, look at how much genius them people was. Scary X, the Cool. Look at what them people, I'm going to say myself, you gave me a lot of accolades for going around the world and being a journalist. Those rappers is who made me be who I wanted to be.
Exactly.
I remember at a point watching Boots speak. Being like, I want to talk like that one day, man. I don't even know what the fuck he on with all that shit, all that lumping proletariat capitalism. I didn't even know what the fuck he was saying. I remember being his president. I didn't even know what the fuck he was saying.
He was impressed.
He was talking about Marxism and Pan-Africanism, intercommunalism, and all these big words that I learned later on. But I'm saying that to say,
you sparked the seed.
But I'm saying we got to spark the seed so that we're not having the same discussion in 2050 that we having in 2021.
Right.
22.
You're absolutely
You know what I'm
right.
saying? And at what point or are we going to push a futuristic agenda? Black people, we like to look at black history. I like to look at black future.
I don't celebrate Negro appreciation sort of couple of weeks. And y'all that know me, you know that's what Negro I call that shit. Weeks? Negro appreciation sort of couple of weeks. I don't celebrate that shit. Anthony. Yeah. Anthony Marker, hey, you've been saying this, I hear, and you get called a coon. Here's, I feel you. What I will say is, let me see. I don't want to. Yeah, I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. What happens is your audience sometimes not ready to hear shit, and that's understandable. But at the same time, we can't keep. I get it. I will always call.
That's some the people tax say of being a leader, though. Right. But wait, that's the tax of being a leader. You gotta take the arrows to the chest for being.
Some days you the bug, some days you the windshield. Here's the thing. To think forward, you got to move forward.
Right.
So, yeah, I get we can't blame the Pilgrims for everything. Well, we can. Yes, we can. But we do have to have some accountability on our parts, too. I am 100% with that.
Let me ask you a question.
But I will call a whip holder every fucking time.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question, bro.
Yes, sir.
You know one of my major criticisms, I want you to hear this too, Pharaoh. One of my major criticisms with hip-hop is that at our age, the artists that's still out making music, people like E40 Too Short, they don't make 45 and 50-year-old rap, even though that's the age range in which they in. Jay-Z did the 444 album. That was a 40, 50-year-old rap album. He spit some game on it. What the fuck is wrong with us? Why do niggas in the Bay make albums where you 40 or 50 years old, but you talking about shake your dreads, shake your dreads, and I'm like, let them
in his position than they
but I mean, no man, I'm not letting you get away with that. Droopy is E40's son. Yeah. Droopy is about 30 years old, and Droopy is making music. E40 is not promoting Droopy to do stupid shit. Droopy is a well-groomed, grown man making money in the way that his daddy is making money. E40 is making money off of not just music, but burritos, cognacs, beers, wines. He not speaking. He not telling us in his music how he's doing that the way that Jay-Z did with the 444 album. That was a mature album. What the fuck is wrong with the Bay and our artists?
I'm gonna say something controversial from the Bay aspect.
Say it.
But even from Reasonable Doubt days, Jay's music, if you got past the what he said, if you only heard the single or you don't know English, Jay's music could be considered a little bit more introspective than, say, Short and 40's music. So now that they all around 50 years old,
I would say he was braggadocious. I don't know about introspective because
but he still talked on the pitfalls, whereas 40's music might be more directed at, fuck it, let me just give these youngsters some soup while I go eat a steak. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even going to give these youngsters no nutrition because I know they're going to eat it up anyway.
But that's the criticism.
And Too Short is Too Short. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's going to be, they're going to be 70 yelling bitch. So I'm putting you like this. Not that I don't respect their artistry, but I've never viewed them as complex artists.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you, why is the art not maturing?
Because they're not complex artists.
No. I'm not letting you go with that. 40 then showed us in the last 5 years. He didn't got a liquor company.
Yeah.
He got a food company where he got the little liquor store burritos and shit. I mean, regardless if it's just a hustle, tell us about that hustle. You was telling us about your dope hustle. Why you not telling us about the burrito hustle? The liquor store burrito hustle. Tell us about the Earl Stevens wine hustle. You know what I'm saying? And this is in no way to denigrate somebody as much as it is to wake us up to empower ourselves. I don't want to hear about 40 talking about shaking his dreads. I want to hear about why you did that burrito move and why you living off of that. and now you rich forever, even though E40, the brand, didn't make you rich forever per se. But now you got Earl Stevens and you got the Cognac. You know what I'm saying?
40 doing his thing.
But all I'm saying is teach us at the same time. That's all I'm saying.
Don't
dumb us down.
I get what you're saying.
And I'm saying the Bay a lot of times has a tendency where we want to be 25 for 25 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I was saying, and like remember I said even the case of this particular manager got in position, and you're a music manager of platinum artists, and you don't know who Rod Temperton is. Too many times in the Bay, people approach the music as simply a hustle, as a way to get paid. In fact, some of our more successful Bay artists, I get the feeling that they'd have made the same money flipping houses. They wouldn't have never spit a verse, even though they had talent for it, because they didn't attack it as art. Mm-hmm. They always it was always viewed as just a hustle. And if it's just a hustle, then man, I might want to do like what's the dude that got them steaks and he's sprinkling the salt and all that type of shit, making the artistry, right? Yeah. And somebody else might be like, nigga, fuck what he talking about. We could turn this bitch into a McDonald's and make it more. And if you could talk about, well, no, I'm actually an artist with these steaks. Get the fuck out of here, nigga. It's a hustle. It's just simply a lit. Even though they're talented.
So you basically saying business versus art.
That's what I think some of these cats is. That's why you got some of these cats in the Bay that's 45, 48, and still making the same exact record that they made in 94.
But what I will say is, and I do remember, I can't remember the whole entire interview. I remember Short, and y'all, you two is music and journalism I consider y'all experts studying this. I remember Short said something years ago. He gave an interview, and he was talking about when he did the Ghetto and whatnot, he wanted to go a certain route, and the labels was like, no, bro. We want you to do, So you have that, but once again, and we talking about years ago.
But the label, I want to speak to that. He didn't have the artistry to maintain that. If you listen to the flow in the Ghetto, that ain't short.
Hold on. Stop.
But he ain't right.
Wait. I want to speak as somebody that's younger than y'all. Mm-hmm. A younger generation. I'm not a short generation. I grew up under that generation. I'm younger. Mm-hmm. I remember the way I remember Short. Short had a conscious record on every record. Mm-hmm. You had Life Is Too Short.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You had the Ghetto. You had I Want to
Be Free.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You had. That used to be the theme.
Right.
And I'm talking about with every artist. The Delinquents did the same thing, but what they did instead of just doing singles, they brought Scary X every album.
That Thinking About Home is one of the hardest songs ever.
Not just Think About Home.
I'm just saying.
A pig is a pig. That's what I said. Yeah. When he go in about the episodes and how NBC and them is corrupting us.
True.
So I'm saying that to say, I remember an era when gangster rap had to have a conscious record on every song. Had to have a conscious record on every album.
You had to have a party record, you had to have a conscious record, and you had to have a For the Ladies album.
No, so then that disappeared because you saying to me, that's what made Short. Mm-hmm. That's what made me like Short because
the Ghetto is his only song other than You
said what?
Freaky Tales that still hold up from 30 years ago.
But my point is, it's the contradiction of the person.
Nobody's still slapping that.
I do.
Let's slap what?
Invasion of the Flat Booty Bitch. You can catch me down footed. I slap that.
You got to bump that on just still in the town.
The Ghetto is his greatest song to me.
The Ghetto?
The Ghetto is his greatest song.
I Want to Be Free better than that.
Really? I love the Ghetto.
I'm a player.
I play the Ghetto every Saturday morning.
In the trunk.
I mean, Freaky Tales, of course.
Way too real.
Dude,
just another day.
Like for instance, Murder was the case. Is like 187 Road. Is like
Bickerwood, Scary X. I still got that. I still
what
got
did you just say? Hold on, man. You over here saying blasphemy. What you just say?
Murder Was the Case album is some of Spice's greatest work.
But
that song he had on the Menace to Society.
She wrote?
Are you gonna say that
Trigger's Got No Heart?
Trigger's Got No Heart and Welcome to the Ghetto ain't Spice's greatest work?
No, yeah, but them was his woke shit. I'm saying that's greater than a lot of
Welcome
other
to the Ghetto was hood though. Welcome to the Ghetto was conscious, but it was still gangster.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, for instance, my opinion, The Ghetto is Too Short's greatest song. It might not be his greatest seller, but that's his greatest song.
Why you say that?
I mean, man, that line to this day, man, you could be anywhere in Oakland. You say $600 million on a football team. And everybody gonna say, man, and everybody felt that shit because they sold.
That was a cold lyric. I can't front on that.
Yeah,
that was one of the coldest lyrics. That was one of the coldest
even today,
lyrics.
you feel that in your soul.
Hold on, say that again, man. What he say?
If you just say $600 million on the football team,
and their baby died just like a dope fiend.
Man, anybody that spent any time on the Oakland store knows the second part of that, and they still 30 years later feel that shit.
I ain't gonna front. True. That right there was a legendary line.
Bars
that was a legendary.
We live in a different, and it's such.
Pete just say all the Peckerwoods better hide.
I said, yeah, I still like.
Hey. No, wait, hold on. Let's give a shout out because I be feeling like Ascari X don't get his just due. Peckerwoods better hide tonight. Oakland streets, Warded State.
Yeah.
Uhuru Sasa. What's the one you named with
Giants
the
versus Giants? Thinking about home.
Think about home.
Thinking about home.
That's what I said.
Thinking about home is
State was my shit.
Yeah.
Message to the Black Man was a centerpiece to me.
To me personally, thinking about home is a truth jab to your fucking nose because he was on and he was talking about the whole. Which I will say this, the whole transatlantic slave trade that y'all talk ain't all true. I give a fuck where you come from. It ain't all true. We was here already. You can't have I can.
It's Black Indians. We got that. It's Black Indians.
We ain't
too.
Indians. I'm called Indians because Indians is in India.
Black indigenous people.
Thank you. Call us what we are. But.
Wait. But would you correct in Indians? I'm just saying we speaking a corrupt language.
Right.
No, but we speaking a corrupt language anyway.
We talking about MX. North MX.
Yeah, so we was with the indigenous people. I got you.
We are the indigenous people. We're here with them. We are them.
No, but I'm saying there's different grades, but we're one of the original grades.
Yes.
Olmecs, Seminoles,
all that. So that song though, it was. I mean, you know, I'm a bar statistician. Because I used to write bars. I've retired a long time ago.
So what you like about the song?
What
you saying?
Just because when I was young, I call bars flow opticals. And I'm gonna break it down to you, the word flow opticals. Mm-hmm. And there's some people that have flow opticals. Flow opticals to me is where if I'm listening to your words and I can close my eyes or just be and I can visualize. I don't need the video that you put out with the ass and titties, you know, that you're going to get to captivate me.
They need to captivate me with their words.
If I can visualize my own video of your bars, when you flowing, that's flow opticals. You take me somewhere mentally.
Visualize.
That's why it's called flow opticals. Flow and optics is the eyes. You know what I'm saying?
You know what that remind me of? Flow-o-matic. It was 3 times was flow-o-matic.
And I've been using this term since I was in high school in 90, 91, 92. I graduated in 92. And niggas that know my bar game know the term flow optical has been from the 90s. So that's one of them songs that I'm just
so
like.
So if one of y'all gonna name y'all album that,
I need my motherfucking check. Yeah, it's like my other shit, Humbly Cocky and all my other shit. I got shit. But anyway, so I mean we've been on one for hold on and ask something. He said, how do you feel about the black people who was involved in Ryan Coogler being detained?
Oh, I want to address that.
Result of the abuse from the Pilgrims throughout the years, self-hate.
Hold on. I want to address that.
Go for it.
Let's address who the fuck Ryan Coogler is, right first, right? Because I don't have the same view that a lot of y'all have. Ryan Coogler.
I'm a huge fan of his,
and I hate that nigga.
Wow, he seems unproblematic.
I'm about to break it down to you.
We work with his cousin.
No, so.
Well, go ahead.
I'm cousins with one of his cousins.
Okay.
So, let's talk about the first movie. What was the first movie? The first movie was Oscar Grant.
Fruitvale Station.
Yeah.
Fruitvale Station.
That was a powerful movie.
Hold on, Pharaoh. I want you to give your testimony. You said this was a powerful movie. What? Mm-hmm. What else did you say?
I said from an artistic point of view, from the framing of the story and the making. I'm into the technical aspects of movies. It was a masterpiece. Coogler is a master at his work, at his craft.
My turn now, right? I don't want you to say nothing just like I didn't say nothing. I feel like it was a total fucking fraud because the Oscar Grant campaign didn't happen because the Oscar Grant gave his motherfucking recipe to some bitch in Whole Foods, or Oscar Grant didn't save some punk ass dog, or Oscar Grant didn't pour out no punk ass weed to look good in front of these peck-a-will white people, right? That's not what happened. That's not the Oscar Grant story. We didn't know none of that. I was part of one of the people that caught a case in the rebellion. I was one of the motherfuckers that was involved when it was shit burning up. We didn't know none of that. We didn't know not one thing of that. But that's what Ryan Coogler wrote a movie about. But Oscar Grant Rebellion really went down because he was a nameless, faceless black man that got killed on public transportation on January 1st, 2009. So the whole movie, as I told Ryan to his motherfucking face, was a fraud. You put angel wings on a nigga that wasn't an angel and didn't get put up in limelight because he was an angel. So really the movie was about something, it really misdirected the people. We didn't fight for Oscar Grant because he was this noble human being. We fought for Oscar Grant because he was the average black man. But Ryan Coogler misrepresented that. Now let's go to movie two. Movie two, Creed.
Creed was a masterpiece.
Now, look, he just keep burying himself. Two. Now, even though he called Creed a masterpiece, he went and found the most dead white boy in the world, Sylvester Stallone, and brought him back to life. You know what I'm saying? Leave that motherfucker dead. Carl, you know what I'm saying? He went and brought Sylvester Stallone back to life, and for a story that wasn't even that great. And wait, hold on. Let me say this.
Yeah, please go
because some of y'all might say, well, Rocky was a good movie. Rocky got a motherfucking statue in Philadelphia.
That ain't even a real motherfucker.
When Spinks and Hopkins don't have a statue, and these is real motherfucking great boxers. So that's two.
I'm with you on
now
that.
Three. Let's go to Ryan Coogler's third movie because we three in, Pharaoh, because I know that's your favorite guy. We three in. So now we go into Black Panther. Black Panther is a white creation of Stan Lee that really, in my opinion, was created to bury the Black Panthers on the internet. So now when you look up Black Panther, you see some motherfucking weird-ass motherfucker in a suit instead of Huey P. Newton, Assata Shakur, Afeni Shakur, and motherfuckers applied. I'm talking about dumb motherfuckers got up there and danced at the theater and wore African clothes, even though the motherfucking country that they said that they was it Gowanda or what the fuck was Wakanda? Wait, Wakanda? It ain't even a real country. We got Uganda, we got Rwanda, but we don't have that country. And the nigga just basically put it out there, and y'all glamorize this nigga. So what's really happening now, in my opinion, they really trying to give him a black card, but I'm saying he got a monkey card. The black card, you can't get a black card after you got a monkey card. So really, I don't give a fuck if they would have shot the nigga. Using sold out the people, I don't give a fuck. You don't have no credibility with me. So that's my opinion on whatever the fuck that nigga name is. The nigga that created the white heroes. Whatever that nigga name is. But that's my opinion.
But in regards to that,
so I got
that's me talking on the movie. Wait, if y'all want to say anything on Ryan Coogler, address everything I said about the movies first. If not, then we can go forward. But if you do want to address it, Pharaoh, address that shit.
I'm gonna hold on. Look.
Yeah, address that shit.
One of the comments, Carl Hudson C. Michaels Photography. What's up, Cuzzo?
Man, tell me what he said.
He said, his issue with Creed which was mine also. Apollo Creed backstory of cheating on his wife, which remember before we went on, we was talking because I did a post about Bel Air and my thoughts about that show and whatnot,
right?
And the portrayal of us in that shit,
right?
Hey, right, exactly. Hudson said, "Why couldn't his wife just be pregnant the night he died in Rocky IV?" Exactly. I get it. Hollyweird is Hollyweird. We go. Yeah.
No, but what one point I want to point out that I think is important because it's something that J. Edgar Hoover, the director of the FBI, said, and I think it refers to Ryan Coogler. You will not have any heroes unless the FBI produces them. And I think Ryan Coogler is a Hollywood FBI created hero. And I'm not fucking with it. The nigga claimed he was from Oakland. The nigga ain't lived in Oakland since he was 8. How old is that nigga? So, me, I'm not rocking with that. And I stand on it. Wait. And Pharaoh, just so you and
I've
Sean
never
know,
met him. So,
and I'm gonna show you how close I'm connected to him. I got a cousin named DeAndre Hooker. That's also that nigga cousin. We share a cousin. So I'm not saying nothing that I don't care if it get back.
I know what
you know what I mean? I'm gonna stand on my shit. But Pharaoh. So I'm saying, as somebody who comes from the revolutionary legacy of Oakland, you disappointing us with heralding this punk.
You can't tear down the Black family.
Counterpoint.
That ain't Black family.
Counterpoint.
No, I'm reading a comment.
Counterpoint. I recently sold one of my movies to one of the biggest corporations in the world. Mm-hmm. So, as a professional filmmaker, I look at the artwork that he's created, and just like with your point about hip hop, we can't expect a certain level of authenticity from the artist. We just need to appreciate the art. Well, in appreciating the art, Ryan Coogler is a true master of putting the film together.
Okay, so the ramifications don't matter to you. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying I can separate the artist from the art.
No, I'm talking about the ramifications of the art because that's all the art. Mm-hmm. That's all the art. I'm saying the ramifications. For example, if I look up Black Panther, or not me, if my daughter looks up Black Panther,
mm-hmm.
you know, T'Challa's gonna come up. Not Huey Newton.
Yeah,
that's Ryan Coogler's dealing.
It's some escapist entertainment. That's what I look at it as. Mm-hmm. But in regards to Fruitvale Station, I don't think it was an attempt to make a. I'm not the master of the words. You are angelicize Oscar Grant, and like you said,
he didn't matter though.
People tore it down, but I'm thinking in order to sell this piece of commerce,
say that. To sell this piece of commerce. So this had nothing. So this had nothing to do with the truth. This had to do with selling a piece of commerce. Say that. Say that shit. Say that shit. So that nigga was selling pussy. Say that shit.
No.
Say that shit.
You're completely
that
wrong
nigga
right
selling
there.
Pussy. Sell it.
At a certain point, because of who we are and where we are, the fact that this thing happened to Oscar Grant is enough for us to go burn this bitch down. But if you're selling a movie to Showtime or HBO or to Middle America, you have to put a human face on Oscar Grant.
Are you justifying that nigga's monkey business? Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm saying.
No, because that's what I'm asking.
Because
I feel like the movie.
What he had to do to make this movie.
I don't, because I'm not in the movie business or selling out. So I'm saying he sold out with the real power of the people in the situation.
Let me ask you this question in regards to selling out.
Because
I came from that era. But I came from an era.
What's the question, bro?
I came from an era, well, let me give this context. I came from an era where we really had to do certain things and Rodney King and all that, right? But I also came from a set of circumstances where there was cats that said, you can't sell drugs to your brothers, right? Mm-hmm. Because, whoop, you're a horrible person, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, yeah, right on. Knowing that I'm finna leave out of here and sell some drugs to my people because I had to not only pay my light bill, I had to pay my mama light bill too. You see what I'm saying? So I can be a contradiction in terms because I am. But I don't
think shit is purely black and white like that. But
what I'm saying though is that in order to get the story of Oscar Grant out there on that level, he had to compromise. Now, my question to you is...
that's not the story of Oscar Grant, though.
This is my question
to you. That's that nigga's story.
This is my question
to you. That's Ryan Coogler's story, not Oscar Grant's story.
Let me ask you this question.
Ask me the question.
The question I have
for you... The question I have
The question I have for you is, Is it always selling out when you make a compromise in order to get something out there?
No, it's selling out when you sell out the real intention of what this.
His intention might have been to get the story.
No. I'm talking.
Compromise.
I'm not talking about that nigga's intention. I don't give a fuck about that nigga's intention. Fuck that nigga's intention. I'm talking about the people's intention. When we was rioting rebellion, what was our intention? Our intention was that there was a black man that got murdered.
Right.
It didn't have nothing to do with none of that other shit.
Right.
It didn't have nothing to do with giving away a recipe to a white bitch at Whole Foods. It didn't have nothing to do with saving no dog. It didn't have nothing to do with throwing away no weed like he did in the movie. It didn't have nothing to do with that. So when you distort it and you try to make it about that, it distorts what is actually happening in the streets.
But it's because the same thing with hip hop.
No, wait, hold on. I'm address that after. I'm addressing what you said first. You know what I'm saying? So you asked me, is it selling out?
No, it's not, Peaches.
So you asked me if it's selling out. Yes, it's selling out because one, Ryan Coogler wasn't involved in the movement for Oscar Grant. The closest that nigga got to the movement was talking to Oscar Grant mama, who also was not involved in the rebellion for Oscar Grant, and talking to me, who was involved, and I caught a case to prove I was involved. You know what I'm saying? So my question to Ryan is, how can you even write a story with just talking to Oscar Grant mama? His mama wasn't rioting. And that's no disrespect to the family, because I respect them. I'm not disrespecting them, but the movement for Oscar Grant was created by the motherfuckers who rioted. What were they about? That's what the subject of the movie should have been about. It doesn't matter who Oscar Grant was. Nobody cared on that night when he got killed. Nobody cared when we rebelled. And that's no disrespect to him.
Did you see the film King Richard?
King Richard? No, about Serena and I didn't see that.
There was a lot of people that had problems with and this is a very important term, boys and girls, artistic license.
Or AKA making up shit.
No, not necessarily. There was a lot of people who had a problem with some of the artistic license on that film, but at the end of the day, Serena and Venus,
executive producer,
was determined for the story of their father to get out there, and they had to compromise on certain aspects of his life, and they also had to let me finish. They had to whitewash. I hate that term, but my mind can't give me a different term.
It's the only way you can call it.
Whitewash aspects of his life, like abandoning his other children and stuff.
Okay,
like
wait.
That,
Let me stop you.
in order to get the piece out there.
Let me stop you. Oscar Grant mama and uncle didn't know what happened because he wasn't there. I was. So it's not the same. They wasn't there. So they can't tell Ryan Coogler what happened on January 7, 2009 when we smashed on Ron Dellums. They wasn't there. I was. So what I'm telling Ryan Coogler, you can get rich. You can do a watered down version. You can become a film producer. But who the fuck is you in your heart when you just so small of a person that you just compromise everything and sold your booty cheeks and your booty hole to Hollywood? You ain't nothing to me. You ain't nothing because you sold our whole struggle downriver.
I once had a conversation with Wilt Chamberlain, and I was a huge Wilt Chamberlain fan growing up, right? And then when he dropped the book about the 20,000, right? But one day I had the chance to talk to him just before he died.
I was close.
I ran into him in Santa Monica, and I was mad because when they retired, they had some ceremony for Bill Russell, right?
Yeah.
And Wilt flew out there, and the crowd basically booed Wilt. You know what I'm saying? And they was loving that, and Wilt kind of standing there looking embarrassed, and then they later revealed that Wilt actually paid for his own plane ticket to go out there to be booed, right? And I was mad. So I said, Wilt, I'm mad. Like, man, why you didn't show you your proper respect, right? And he said, in order for them to really recognize the greatness of Bill, they needed basically the bad guy. So I showed up there for them to hate me, to love Bill more. Wilt Chamberlain was willing to allow himself to be hated in order to help Bill Russell's agenda. So I'm looking at Ryan Coogler in the aspect of he's willing to compromise, be called this and that in order to at least get some light onto the Oscar Grant story.
Well, you know how I feel as somebody that was inside that caught a case and was facing jail time. Fuck that shit, nigga. You lying. Stay the fuck out of our business if you ain't finna tell the truth. So I don't feel that. I don't have the same sentiment that you have. My thing is, nigga, if you can't tell the truth, stay the fuck out of my business.
I'm looking at it like this: as he's a PR person and you're a frontliner. So of course y'all gonna attack it two different ways.
I'm just letting you know.
But y'all both is needed.
Well, but I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know why real town business that's out here in the town right now. I'm letting you know why real town business don't fuck with that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm right here in East 14. I'm right here on San Pablo. I'm right here on MacArthur, Foothill. He not. Yo, Hollywood celebrities who claim this shit, they not. They not there.
I know.
So Ryan Coogler is not there. He hasn't been here since he was 8 from his own. What he say? So I'm saying that to say, as a real Oakland representative, I don't respect that, and I don't I don't respect motherfuckers claiming the shit and not really representing it. You know what I'm saying? So even though we share a family member, fuck that nigga. That nigga sold out.
You need both. You need front.
I guess you do. Soldiers. You do need sellout niggas to show up.
Soldiers, and you need somebody to dig a ditch, and you need somebody to cook the potatoes.
Right. You do need sellout niggas to show how much the frontline soldiers how big they is.
I think sellout is a little harsh.
I think that you saying that because we in a capitalist economy and you make movies just like this nigga and you trying to give him a pad.
No.
That's
the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't really rock with absolutes, but I also
only a Sith.
I fault myself to not say that. But at the end of the day, I understand the concept of there's a militant brother who's willing to lay it all on the line. And there's a brother be like, "Ooh, them niggas is crazy," but I'll try to do what I can to help them. You see what I'm saying?
You got to work with us, because if you saying that outside of the thing, you against us. You working with the white.
Let me tell you something. I used to be part of the Hooroo House back in the days.
Hooroo House?
And I never been a part of that. But I
used to be a part of it, and this is when I left, right? Is that there was an old lady in East Palo Alto. Your neck of it. And she put up a neighborhood watch sign.
And her house and they shot it through her house, and it was on Unsolved Mysteries in '92. I know you're talking about. Okay. She stayed off West.
But here goes the thing. So we was there, and there was a brother, rest in peace, Biko, and he was like one of the
house.
And he got to talking about how she got what she deserved, and I'm sitting there, and at this point, I'm still on the turf.
Why did he say that?
He said because when she put up the neighborhood watch sign, she was enabling the police, and she was working as an agent provocateur, right? And as an agent provocateur, she deserved to get. And I said, "Hey, hold on a second, blood. Niggas was grinding in her front yard. Oh, that dude was going down the street, because unbeknownst to him, I was still grinding. So I'm like, I understand the concept of grinding. If an old person come out and say, "Hey, get from in front of my house,"
I grew up in a different era.
You go down the street from in front of their house, right?
I understand that.
But I didn't think of. But I'm also thinking of the aspect of she's an old lady. So she put up the neighborhood watch sign to get niggas in front of her yard. She's an old lady. She can't come out and gun battle with niggas. So I didn't feel she was acting as the police.
You should have been here.
I didn't think that was some type of wild ass thought pattern to say, "Nah, this old lady didn't get what she deserved and shot." He said, because I was arguing, I was disagreeing, that I was also going against the party line.
Can I say something? Mm-hmm. Because I know, first off, I wasn't involved in it. I never been a part of the Hooroo House. Mm-hmm. I never met Biko.
I quit that night.
No. I never met Biko. Mm-hmm. But I've heard of him.
Rest in peace to Biko.
But what I will say about that, I understand the line. I understand what he's saying. Not necessarily that's what I would push, but I understand the line.
I understood where he's coming from. I just saying I was disagreeing, and he said because I was disagreeing, I was going against the party line, and anybody who goes against the party line is also a provocateur. And he was like, "You the police," and I was like, "Nigga, you sound stupid," and I left.
That's too much.
I wish I would have worked.
No, that's too much.
I wish I would have struggled through it, because he eventually, ended up dying, and I thought he was a hell of a dude. But I also thought that
he might have been too
hard line like that was ridiculous to me.
Why though? I feel like this. I don't feel like hardline is necessarily being ridiculous because softline is the rule of the day. Everybody in this motherfucker softline. You can do whatever you want in this motherfucker. Snitching is okay.
No,
everything is okay. What? Come
No,
on, man. We can talk about JT, the bigger figure, and what he got going on and the situations behind that. But I'm saying between what Richie Rich and E40 had going on, I mean, the question is...
I just hung up on one of my partner's brothers. His brother got caught up in some dumb shit, and he was on the phone with me talking about we need money for a lawyer. And then he said, man, he better tell them people, he need to tell them people something. And I said, hey, blood, what you mean by that? And he said, man, so he can come home, he better tell them whoop-de-whoop. And I was like, nigga, get off my phone.
Okay.
Because even though this nigga was caught up in some dumb shit and another nigga did whoop-de-whoop, and I'll say this for myself personally, if we go out in this parking lot and one of you niggas down somebody and they get to charging us all with murder and I end up getting convicted, you know what I'm going to say? Damn, I guess this was just my fate. But the thought of, man, I ain't do nothing. Even though I have no idea what you was doing or anything like that, I would be like, damn, I guess this is just my fate. I didn't think it would come to this. I'm mad as fuck it didn't come to this because now I'm not going to get to see my kids and grandkids.
There's a difference between reputable and a snitch. Yeah. In Oakland, we have reputableness, and that's reputable.
I would hope you would say, hey, Farrell didn't know what I was going to do. But if you don't and you try to ride it and they convict me too, if they convict me too, I'm going to be like,
I had to ride nothing.
Fuck. Do the crime, you do the time. I got shot.
Even if I didn't do the crime.
Hey, I'm going to say this.
I'm saying if I did do the crime, I'm going to be like,
wait. On my credit, I done got shot and did snitch on a motherfucker. So I'm just saying that to say there is no reason in which you should comply.
You see that, Peaches?
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't see nothing.
I gotta say this, Deshaun, because I gotta go to the bathroom. Thank you for having me on Cognac Confessionals.
We good. Hey y'all, as y'all know, this is free flowing conversation. We sit here.
Can I say my party though?
I'm finna bring it to you.
Use the bathroom and come right back.
No, because we finna rap.
So Saturday, April 9th, we're having the Ministry of Information podcast launch party, 19 Grand Avenue. Everything is free. You can come see many interviews with different people so you can see what the Ministry of Information podcast is about. It's going to be on Patreon. You can subscribe now and contribute, but please be a part of it. It's free. It's part of Oakland history. Come through. Cognac Confessionals will be in the house. Farrell Films, I'm sure, will be in the house.
Birthday, so
Rockefeller, VJ TV will be in the house.
I'm going to try to make sure I'm in there. And we got... With Farrell, we got Love and Aliens. We still shooting Love and Aliens.
Yes, indeed.
The premiere will be May 12th.
May 12th at Tommy T's.
Y'all be ready. You know, we doing something. Yeah. Hey, I want to shout out everybody
that's Peaches up in that. Tonight.
Peaches, King Yell. Hey, sis, I'm going to hit you. You already know. You're up next. Yeah, I'm putting you on notice. You're up next.
Yeah, come on through, Peaches. Ready to give us some of that real cut.
No, it's good.
I can say this much about Peaches, man. She one of the realest ones, man, I've ever met, man.
Oh, yeah,
that's my people's, man.
I fucks with the homie the wrong way. He done scared us. She said he done scared us. Nah, we good. But, hey, I appreciate everybody tuning in. You know, we usually go an hour, but sometimes we go 2.
I already knew we was going 2 tonight.
Actually, I wasn't trying to, but it's good. You know,
it was flowing.
I'd have been a hater if I'd just been like, okay, we done. But hey, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate you all. Thank you. You know, we got the page here on Facebook. I got the YouTube page up, Cognac Confessionals. We got my man Farrell Films doing this thing. We out here. And said he agreed with Peaches. Hey, I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Hey, y'all, have yourself a lovely Friday, man. The weather was good today. Have y'all a blessed weekend. Please be safe and look out for each other. And as usual, now it's time to say goodbye to all my Negro friends. And I borrowed that from Eddie Murphy. Why? Because I'm just paying homage to a comedy king.